So our second question is geared more towards current SAF students. So what advice would you give to someone early on in their career, whether that be to stay relevant, to stand out, or to get exposure?
Yeah, I think there are a couple things. One, like, put yourself out there. And what I mean by that is a couple things, like go to the events that the school organizes to learn about different industries that are like, normally that are like sort of more common paths for current students. But also, explore a little bit outside of that. Don't be afraid to adventure out. Some of the things that are considered normal paths for SAF students today were back in my day, which kind of dates me when I say that, you know, out of the norm. And if you have an intuition that there's something that you like, even if that intuition is or that thing that you might like is a little bit different than the things that interest people around you, pursue that interest. Go to those events, join those clubs, go to those recruiting events. Really let yourself explore. I think you know one of the best parts about the Waterloo experience is the ability to explore through the clubs, because the student life is really great in that sense. People are really dedicated to planning fantastic events and initiatives for other students, but also through the co-op experience. It's like you take for granted at the time how rare it is to be able to just try different things and figure out what you like. And you know if trying out one or two things, but joining your audit firm as an intermediate instead of a senior is the trade-off. Like, it may feel like that 1 year reduction is a big reduction, but 5 or 10 years out, when you can say, like, yeah, it cost me 1 year, but I tried these other things, and and through trying those other things, I knew that I liked this thing and I went back. Like, to be able to say that, you'll have a lot more happiness and confidence in the career decisions that you've made. And you can be able to test different sort of hypotheses about your life and your career. So really take advantage of all the other things on campus recruiting and put yourself out there. And I guess an extension of that, which I kind of let on to a little bit, is don't be afraid to use co-op as a testing ground, as an experimental ground. I think the engineering students do this really well, and it's something that I think SAF is starting to, SAF students are starting to pick up on. And I know, looking at, LinkedIn profile today, I get really excited and I get a little bit jaded that I didn't pursue it as much. Like, I only did 2 things instead of 4. But even the 2 that I did was double what, 90% of my peer group did at the time. And I'm really grateful that I did the 2, because it allowed me to identify something new, like a new insight that basically shifted the entire trajectory of my career and my life.